Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking the GT350 out for a little driving review, so stick with us and let's go take this thing out for a drive. Not love that sound. Exhaust open in sport mode. Sport mode stiffens up the suspension, the steering, and opens those exhaust valves. This GT350 is just like the ultimate Mustang. I'm not sure if there's a better Mustang that's out there on the market that you could buy. Of course, the GT500 is faster, but it doesn't have the same theater of shifting your own gears and that naturally aspirated flat plane crank V8. Oh, just saying that, it's just amazing that that's in a Ford Mustang. Really, it's awesome. 526 horsepower, 429 foot-pounds of torque. That is crazy. I believe that is the most horsepower in a naturally aspirated engine from Ford ever. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true. And it sounds mean. I mean, it sounds angry. It's like a flip of the switch when those exhaust valves open. It is just a beast. I mean, how could you not like this sound? Listen to this. And that's like 4,000 RPM right there. We still got double that to go on the range. Downshift and go through the gears and just have fun. What an epic American muscle machine. And did I mention it handles too? For a rear wheel drive 3,800 pound car, this thing handles surprisingly well. Very, very good handling car. Now I'm a little biased. They're coming from the Porsches and the rear engines and the mid engines, and you can't compare the handling to that with having all the weight in the front. But for what's supposed to be an American muscle car, there's nothing out here that can touch it. I don't even think the Camaros, you know, with the handling packs can even touch this. It's just that crazy. One gripe that I do have about it, though, is like on these back roads, or any roads for that matter, they have the little grooves in the road, and these tires on the front are just so wide that it kind of pulls you around on the road a little bit. So that can be kind of annoying, but that's the price you pay for having huge tires for the handling aspect. But when you compare it to other sports cars in this range, I mean, honestly, you'd have to be looking at, you know, maybe a cheaper Porsche Cayman, Boxster. Of course, you've got your Supras out there. I mean, if those are your options for, you know, the $50,000 price range, the theater and all of the adrenaline and the raw power, the noise, I think the GT350 has definitely got to be on your list. You got to take a look. You got to test drive one of these things if you haven't. I didn't even test drive this thing when I got it. I ordered it offline. Was delivered to my door. First time ever driving one. That was quite an experience. So if you do get the chance to at least test drive one, I would definitely do that. And the brakes are good for a big heavy car. They're not McLaren carbon ceramics, but they get the job done. Traffic is now gone. You guys ready to hear this V8 sing all the way to 8,000? Here we go. Still going, still going, still going, still going. 8,000. Holy moly. And you know what happens when you do that? The low fuel light blinks immediately. We probably just went through 2 gallons of gas on that. But yeah, that is awesome. It just has legs and it just keeps going and going. Sounds so freaking good. Sounds this good from the inside. Just imagine how good it sounds on the outside. The thing is just insane. Is 526 horsepower enough? I think it's plenty. I think it's more than enough. I mean, how often can you exploit all this power on the road? Not very often. All right, guys, we have to try the launch control in a manual. I have never done this before. Went into the track apps, launch control. Marked the RPM at 4,500 RPM. We're gonna rev it up. It'll stay at 4,500 RPM, and then we're gonna let off the clutch and see what happens. So hang on, here we go. Bogged a little bit, but that was still fun. I mean, is it really launch control? It's not like the dual clutches. It's just holding your RPM at whatever set value you put it at. 4,000 to 6,500 RPM are the ranges that you can play with on this, and so I mean, it's still cool to have that option in a manual transmission. For sure. And it also has like the drag mode, line lock, which we did play with the line lock a little bit earlier. We have the Insta360 camera footage of that, so we'll show you that here shortly. That was pretty cool. Smoky burnout. Gives you like 15 seconds of burnout time and then launches you. Good for warming up the tires at the drag strip, I suppose. Or if you just want to make a smoky burnout and throw away your tires after a few of them. It's not going to be nice on the tires, that's for sure. So yeah, guys. GT350. What a machine. I've had GT3 now, I've had Caymans, we've had the Boxster, the McLaren. Where does it stack up against those? Well, obviously it's not as fast as the McLaren. The McLaren was a twin turbo torque monster. But for sound in theater, this wins totally. And then when you compare it against a GT3, the GT3 sound is on another level. That screaming flat 6, ugh. It's hard to beat that. But then that was a dual clutch. Didn't have the manual. I've missed the manual. My last manual is a 335 Beamer, and it's been 3-4 years since I had a manual, so it's nice to be back to the manual. With this Tremec 6-speed, best manual hands down I've ever owned. It's so smooth, shifts gears like butter. I've only driven I think it was a 2018 Mustang GT with the 6-speed, which is not the Tremec, and I can tell this is way better. Way better transmission. But each of those cars are a little different and definitely have different price points. So this one, for that $50,000 range, I mean, you got to throw the Corvette in there in the ring too, if you could ever get a new Corvette. C7 Corvette, I wouldn't even, hands down, GT350 all the way. I'd do that all day long. But if you get your hand on a MSRP priced C8, I mean, you don't have a manual transmission there, but for the price and performance on those things, it's pretty crazy. So they don't make the GT350 anymore either, so it's a rare beast. I mean, I think they made, I want to say in the 12,000, maybe 14,000, something like that, of these things between 2016 and 2020. So they're not rare like a GT3 or a McLaren for sure, but they are going to be a dying breed. Between not having manual transmissions anymore and everything getting electrified, you're never going to see a Mustang like this again, ever, which is sad. So if you're one of those guys that can hang on to cars, the GT350 would probably be a sound investment 20 years down the road. But for me, I can't hang on to a car that long. Just can't do it. Always need to try something different. Full disclosure though, guys, we bought this from Vroom. Like I said, stay tuned for a Vroom buying video coming up in a few weeks. I am actually returning this Mustang to Vroom. We had a 7-day, 250-mile return policy. That's a benefit of buying a car sight unseen on the internet through Vroom or Carvana. They give you a little return window. And this is a special engine, so if you read out there on the GT350s, there's tons and tons of horror stories about oil consumption and engines blowing up. And so you have to be kind of skeptical of the engine and kind of worried, I guess. So when I got this one, you know, the engine was my main focus. So I was listening to the engine, driving it around. Between 2,500 and 3,500 RPM, there is this annoying noise, and it's coming from the engine. It's kind of like a lifter noise, but I don't think that's what it is. Something in the valve train, something inside the engine has a buzzing noise. And for as much as I paid for this car, and knowing the issues that the GT350 potentially could have, I don't want to deal with that, especially since this car doesn't have a warranty. So we will be sending this back to Vroom. We will not be hanging on to the GT350, which is super sad because this was my ultimate spec. The avalanche gray, the white stripes, even had yellow painted calipers, and it's one of the best looking Mustangs with the wider fenders and the ground effects, and the Shelby just looks awesome. So I'm kind of sad that I have to send it back, but I can say that I have gotten to experience the flat plane V8 that's just astonishing. So stay tuned for that update once they come pick this thing up. I will definitely be making a video of the whole buying process and the return process now of a car to Vroom, if that interests you at all. So thanks for tuning in today, guys, on this first review drive of the GT350, and probably one of the last drives already because I don't want to go over the 250 mile limit. So thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.